Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We're from Group 5, Class 2 with the project of Internet Search Analysis skill. We have title of our project is Edit Distance Algorithm, which is we're going to be present this project for today. So we have 3 members of our team, which is me, as leader and writer, Ricky Saputra, and also there's
And the next, my name is Raffiananda, and the next.
And my name is Afisharin Guzman as a writer.
Okay. In this paper or in this presentation, we would like to present about the 4 chapter of content. First chapter is about the introduction of this content, and the second is about the basic theory, or we can say the chapter 2, and the chapter 3 is about problem analysis, and the last is chapter 4 is conclusion and suggestion. For the first chapter is introduction is going to be presented by Raffiananda.
Okay, the first I will explain about introduction. Next. 1.1 background. Edit distance algorithm is created to help computational programming and biological programming quantify the summary of DNA sequence. So it can be explained the edit distance help us in the checking the mistake widgets. Next. 1.2 writing objective. So there are some goals we discussed. Edit distance is the first aims of implementation of edit distance algorithm, and 2 seconds measuring the accuracy of the edit distance algorithm. Next, 1.3 problem domains. The first, what is edit distance? And second, function of edit distance. And third, how does edit distance work? And 4, why us edit distance? Next. 1.4 writing methodology. We asked the literature study methods with data collection technique from trust media includes the first data collecting and the second literary study. Next. 1.5 writing for framework. There are several captures that we will explain, including and the capture 1 is introduction, content in discuss all about the basic of this paper, and the chapter 2 basic the theory content is discuss all of the basic definition of related topic, and the chapter 3 problem analysis content in discuss all of the detail of the edit design algorithm, and the last one chapter 4 conclusion and suggestions content in discussing and the conclusion and suggest for the topic. Next. Chapter 2 will be content by Brother Ricky.
Okay, in the chapter 2, we would like to present about the basic theory, which is going to explain about definition of algorithm, data structure, and also the dynamic programming. Okay, next, we would like to explain about the definition of algorithm. Okay, so the algorithm is the set of programs that implement or express that algorithm. Okay, so this is the definition of algorithm. And the next is about the definition of data structure. Data structure is the structural representation of logical relationship between data elements. So this is like a representation of any structural data, and it has like own relation with the data element, data structure. And the next is all about the definition of dynamic programming. Dynamic programming is a method for solving a complex problem by breaking down the given problem into a number of subproblems and solving the subproblems once and storing the solution to the subproblems in the table. So in addition, definition of dynamic programming is like programming that can implement their environment, like they can learning by itself. So dynamic programming has its own variable that's going to add their value by itself. And dynamic programming is also be implemented on like self-driving car and in machine learning or other or artificial intelligence. So it is very, very different from pre-programming. So the dynamic programming is like reinforcement learning. So it can learning by itself. It's very, very different from the pre-program. Okay. And the chapter 3 is going to be presented by Alfie.
Okay, we go to chapter 3, which is problem analysis. In this chapter, we will discuss about definition of edit distance, application, method, and the last is advantage and disadvantage of edit distance itself. Next, please. For the first definition of edit distance. What is edit distance? Edit distance is an approach of quantifying how dissimilar two strings, example Gracia, words, are to at least one another by investigating the minimum range of operation needed to rework one string into the others. Next, please. Second is application of edit distance. Edit distance usually used for two things. There is computational biology and natural language processing. In computational biology, edit distance usually used for DNA analysis, while in NLP, the edit distance usually used for spell check, plagiarism detection, and string matching. Next, please. Third, the method. Please look at the picture beside. The method used in edit distance as follows. For the first, initialize one LD matrix Mn. M and N are the length of two input strings. The matrix can be filled from the top left to the bottom right, with each horizontal or vertical jump corresponding to an insert or a delete, respectively. Second, by defining the cost of each operation to be 1, if the two strings do not match, then the cost of a diagonal jump is 1. Otherwise, it is 0. In a nutshell, if two strings of position are equal, the value of ig at 1 to the left, 1 to the top, and 0 to the top left, and fill it with the smallest of the three ig. If the two strings of position are not equal, the value from ig take the minimum value from f. Take the minimum value of the upper left, and upper three position at 1 to the minimum value, or at 1 to all three values, then take the minimum value and then fill to ig. For the last, according to the above rules LD matrix, after filling, finally the number in the lower right corner of the matrix is two string LD value. Next, please. The last, advantage and disadvantage of edit distance. For the advantage of edit distance has a unique, fast, and unrestricted to same length between the string and high quality result. While for disadvantage of edit distance has a long string result in a long time processing and the time complexity, low efficiency.
The last chapter on this presentation is chapter 4. It's all about conclusion and suggestion. So we go to the conclusion about the edit distance algorithm. The conclusion from the writer is an approach to, I can say, Edison algorithm is an approach to measure how different two strings are by this investigating the minimum range of operation required to rework one string into another. With this advantage and disadvantage, this approach is commonly used in DNN matching and in the spell correct feature. So, like in addition, this conclusion is about Edison is not restricted on all the in the computational programming, but is also in the computational biology, like DNA matching and sequences. And for the suggestion, the writer suggests to the reader, like to considering the advantage and disadvantage of this algorithm, like the writer suggests the users learn more about this or other algorithm approaches to add insight and to be able to compare which one is more effective. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.